Hello YouTubers, in this video we're going to be repairing our vacuum pump. Currently it has a leak. I don't know if you can tell in the video or not, but it's not white aluminum. It's kind of got an oil tinge to it and it is oily. I have a feeling it's just leaking at this fitting here, which is okay for now. I may replace that fitting. I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, we bought a repair kit and here it is. So the parts, one part. This is the order number that you need from Dorman, and it includes the largest seal, the seal that goes against the engine, and then replacement screws. So that's all there is to it. These E-torque bolts here, I believe there are 3. I will confirm that with you as we walk the walk and talk the talk here. Those will come off and then we should be able to slide the unit out. When we slide the unit out, we're going to want to make sure it's clocked or know where it's clocked. You'll see in there, there'll be an arm. That arm spins around. In order to get the system back in place, when you put it back in, the clock has to be in the same position so that it slides into place. If it's out of position, when you slide it in, it's going to knock and not slide into position. So, first thing we're going to do is probably put a rag down beneath this thing, so it can absorb oil without splattering everywhere. And then we'll take this cover off, take this off, and then I think we'll get to our E-torque bits. So let's jump into it. Take this off. I already have it undone. This is because I had planned to do several things on this car as far as more preventative maintenance. This is not an issue. This is preventative maintenance, and this is one of the things I want to do. So we're gonna just lift up on this. This won't be the last time this thing comes up for the next few months, but we'll get this out. That's out of our way. Next thing we're gonna do is put a rag beneath this and to catch any oil. We have our rag sitting underneath there. Hopefully that'll do the trick. This is butted up far against the engine as I can get it. Yeah, so let's put on some gloves and take that fitting off. Okay, the hose is off. The clip is off. I pulled the hose up and yeah, just cleaned it off as best I can before I pulled it up so that I don't get dirt and debris back down in there. So now I'll clean this off some more. Now that this is out of the way, let's see what we can do with that. And now we have, I believe, 3 E-torques, E8s. They go here, here, and there's one kind of right down here underneath the unit. Should be able to reach it no problem. I have a stubby. You don't have to have a stubby. An extension and the E8. If you try to use a standard extension and a 1/4 inch, it's going to be too big. It's going to press too far up against the radiator. You're not going to have any kind of movement moving left or right. So this gives enough room to be able to get it, no problem. So let's take that off. The 3 screws are out, 1, 2, and the one underneath. There's no problem getting to them. Just feel for the bottom one. You won't be able to miss it. So now, guess you don't want to stay. Okay, I'm defeated. So now all we should have to do is wiggle it loose and it pops out. There's the bar I was telling you that we got to remember how it's clocked. So I'm going to take a picture, which I just did. This is how it needs to go back. So here we are. The O-ring here is missing. Let's still be, don't feel it. Oh, there's the O-ring. So be mindful of that. If you don't see it, doesn't mean it wasn't there. So that O-ring is out. We'll clean out the surface in there. We're going to clean out this surface in here. But for now, let's clean this off before we introduce dirt and debris into this thing. You're probably like too late, but I'm going to clean all that off. Anyway, let's clean this off and then we'll take these 5 bolts off. Okay, she's cleaned up pretty good. The next thing to do is to take out the T25s, these bolts here that come with the kit. So I had a subscriber who knows me send me a tripod for this purpose. He's like, you're missing some valuable content on how you're doing these things. So here we go with some valuable content. So one thing I'm noticing right away is these screws here are barely any head to it, whereas the screws that came with it are quite large. So what I normally do is I don't go and tear these things up because I don't know if I need the old parts for any reason. So just a tip, try not to mangle anything just because you have replacement things doesn't mean you won't need these old parts. There's the back side. Not much to it. What I'm going to do now is pull out this O-ring here, which feels rather flush. So it probably was part of the leak. Anyway, I'll get a pick, pull that out. Where's the brick? I'm going to clean up the inner surface now, put in our new O-ring. And just so you know, I really would advise you not to empty the canister of oil or what's in here of oil, because when this thing starts spinning, we want there to be oil in there. I've seen other videos where they completely take it all out. I can't imagine that would be the right thing to do. So we're going to leave oil in there. Ring. Okay, so before we finish setting up the O-ring and putting on the back plate, we're not going to be putting on the back plate out here. It's going to be put on when we put this into the car, because if we don't align this right, just right, it's easier to make the adjustment here. I don't know if you can see that it's moving, but it's moving. I'm able to move it. If I seal this unit, odds are it's going to be quite tough, and I may have to rotate the engine in order to fit it into this hole. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this into the car, rotate it here, and then put the back plate over it. But before we do that, I need to put on the new O-ring on the other side, so we're going to clean that up. So the O-ring is in. Hopefully I was showing you something. Anyway, clean the area, put in the O-ring, and now we're ready to put this into the engine. So I'm gonna move you around and see if I can't show that with this tripod. I just wanted to show you what you're working with here. 1, 2, 3. And if you look in here, it's clocked a certain way. And we're just going to put our unit back in there, twist it to fit it. So what I'm doing here is I'm feeling where the this pin here wants to be, and it looks like it wants to be at a 10 and 4 position if you were looking at a clock. So it wants to kind of go like this. Okay, she's in. Make sure that that flap slides into that receiving area. You'll feel it in there. If you feel in there, you'll find out about where it's clocked. Set it to, mine was 10 and 4. I set it at 10 and 4. And the way you can verify that it's in there and seated properly is there should be nothing sticking out. The first thing sticking out should be the gasket and the plate going in. If you see that your mechanism in there that spins is sticking out, it's not seated. Pull it out, put it back in. It should be flush. The worst thing sticking out should be the O-ring. So we've clocked it into position, and the O-ring is in on this side, the O-ring is in on this side, and now I'm just putting in the screws. So let me finish doing that. Okay, so I'm starting the screws on this just to hold the panel in place, or the back panel in place, and then we're going to put in our mounting screws for our E-Torx that hold it to the engine. Okay, the Torx bolts are started. We're going to tighten those up, and then we're going to tighten up the seal kit new bolts. Not a whole lot of information about how to torque or what this should torque to. So I can tell you it's fairly snug. I did see one thing online that talked about 10 to 20 Newton meters, which is not much at all. That equates to, I don't even know, not even 8 foot-pounds. Anyway, that's what I'm going to start with. We'll see how it goes. Now we're going to torque it to 10 Newton meters first. So we have our T25, and we're going to tighten this down to 10 Newton meters. So everything's back together, all tightened up, ready to go. So I guess we'll leave it like this. Just move stuff to the side. Let's get a key. We have a key. And I've already got it. No, this is not the... Okay, so that's where we want it. YouTubers will call this job done. Everything's working, no leaks. If it was going to leak, it was going to leak by now. So if you like the video,